There's a sense of peace that Patrick Beasley has come to appreciate. A walk outside, no matter how cold, a mother's hug, no matter who's around, an overall love of life, no matter how hard he has to fight to live.
Lately, I've actually felt normal, and it's been a while.
At 22, Patrick should have been a senior in college now. Time for books and exams, independence and transformation. But nothing could have prepared Patrick and his family for the real-life lessons they learned over the past 2 years.
I couldn't sit through my class. It was just excruciating pain. I had to leave.
In the middle of his sophomore year, plans for a business degree came to a sudden halt when his health took a horrible turn.
It was so obvious. It was just so darn obvious. And how did the doctors and me, how did we miss it? How did we miss it?
For 10 months, doctors worked to diagnose the problem as Patrick got sicker and sicker.
It was just draining me.
By February of '06, Patrick was struggling to keep up with a full load of classes at school. His weight had dropped by 30 pounds. He dropped down to just 5 hours. The Beasleys had no idea how that would turn their lives upside down.
It's called desmoplastic small round cell tumor.
Desmoplastic small round cell tumor, a cancer only diagnosed in about 160 people worldwide.
You know it's bad. He didn't know it.
A cancer diagnosis, a serious blow, but what came next was another bombshell.
No insurance for him.
When Patrick dropped below 12 hours at Longview College, the family's insurance carrier dropped him.
My dad's insurance wouldn't pay for me. They wouldn't cover me.
The problem, his dad's insurance would only cover Patrick while he was a full-time student.
We're sick. We drop a class.
A rare cancer, no insurance, and no local doctors with the experience to fight it.
You cry into towels. You try very hard because you don't want to scare him, but you can't breathe.
The pineapple and grapefruit-sized tumors had to be removed from his stomach. They found a specialist with experience in treating this rare cancer in New York. But without proper coverage, the Beasleys would have to raise the money for Patrick's surgery themselves.
His surgery was $159,000.
To save their son's life, they sold their home and moved into a sister's basement. They emptied account after account, from savings to college funds, and then reached out to others.
We have no home. We have every dime that we've ever had, and I would do it again.
For a time, they didn't know if Patrick would make it. He seemed to get sicker before he got better, and he's still not in remission. And it seems around every corner is another setback, another round of chemo to zap his strength, and in a few weeks, a stem cell transplant scheduled in Houston.
I'm nervous. I'm scared.
The Beasleys say Patrick's cancer drained the entire family emotionally and financially, leaving them too tired to even be angry about the insurance anymore.
No, we wouldn't have had to pay for the whole surgery in New York. We still would have been financially ruined.
No matter the cost, no matter the pain, they're still grateful for what they have.
If I have another breath, I have another day to live, I have another day to dream and believe and do what I want in my life. Do whatever you want. I don't care.
A 3,000-ton freight train barrels down on a 3-ton pickup truck. The match over in seconds at this railroad crossing in Olathe.
I didn't know whether I was going to live or die. I had no idea.
Brandon Trentadue can't remember the crash.
I just can't put the puzzle together.
His search leads us to the state and federal agencies that rank the danger at each crossing. Inspectors use a computer database entering the number of cars, the number of trains, and other data for every railroad crossing in America.
All of that is rolled into a mathematical formula.
A formula that helps the states decide where to install better warning systems. But our investigation reveals that the government tracking system is far from perfect. In some cases, especially in Missouri, it's a train wreck.
The crossing where Brandon nearly lost his life has an accurate safety profile, last updated in the year 2000. But crossings in the state of Missouri are sometimes not checked for 20 years at a time, and the results have been deadly.
On Easter Sunday, 3 teenagers died at this crossing near Excelsior Springs, marked only by flashing lights. The federal numbers here were 17 years old, The state's numbers were 2 years old. Rod Mossman is in charge of Missouri's crossing safety program.
I think we have a good program now.
This so-called good program never calculated changing traffic patterns here. A new shopping center on one side of the tracks and new homes on the other could have triggered change. But the state never knew this hard-to-see crossing may have qualified for better equipment. An NBC Action News analysis found that Missouri state inspectors never checked the traffic at 313 out of 356 crossings in Clay and Jackson counties. Their numbers are just estimates, and many of those estimates are from as far back as 1982. In Kansas, a different story. Every single crossing in Johnson and Wyandotte counties was hand-checked within the last 7 years. So why is Missouri so far behind?
We have one staff member who covers the whole state.
Mossman says there's just not enough money to hire more inspectors, even with a $6.7 million yearly budget.
They need to be checked, and they need to be checked often.
Congressman Sam Graves supports a bill that would force each state to keep crossing inspections on track. If passed, it could mean more money, allowing the state to fix more than the usual 30 crossings per year. Even then, it would still be up to drivers to pay attention when they cross the tracks.
They know what's safe and in their minds, and they just continue going.
Where Brandon Trentadue nearly lost his life, we uncovered another problem. The gates malfunction, sometimes going up and down at random.
I was portrayed as somebody who was a maniac driver.
This crossing ranks number 6 on the danger list in the states of Missouri and Kansas combined. But whether it's crossings that don't work or outdated inspections, victims like Brandon hope that someone gets crossing safety back on track.
I'd tell them that they need to be checking it more often.
Before someone else loses their life.
Come on, guys, let's go get in the van.
With a 7-year-old and 3-year-old twins,
Everybody sit in your seat.
Kelly Hoobs knew it was time for a minivan.
Let's get buckled up.
She researched prices, looked at options, and weighed the safety features. Then bought this 2005 Honda Odyssey.
This one seemed to have more of a better safety record.
Honda has won many accolades for safety on their popular minivan. It comes with a 5-star crash test rating, side curtain airbags, even automatic bounce-back sliding doors to protect little hands and feet from getting caught. It's a feature Kelly says the salesman demonstrated right on the showroom floor.
He did it a couple times, and if he's willing to close himself in the door, I thought that it would be okay.
But she soon learned this popular safety feature that sold her on the van was anything but reliable.
I closed the door and went around the other side to put myself in the car. As soon as I sat in the seat, I heard Matthew screaming.
Then she did something most mothers couldn't. She took this picture with her cell phone, her 3-year-old's hand trapped up to the palm in the rear of the sliding door.
I cried. You cried?
4 fingers crushed with no way to pull them out.
I wanted to be able to show the dealership, show Honda what was going on.
Because this wasn't the first time this safety device failed to protect her son, and she says Honda isn't listening.
The second time, I was furious. I never would, in a million years, would have thought that his hand would have gotten caught in that door. I mean, they showed me all the sensors.
Just like they did when we visited Metro Honda dealerships with hidden cameras rolling.
Let's say it's sliding, your little kid's caught in here.
Oh, so it just bounces back like that.
The sensors are the key to making sure this safety device works. Honda's version has the sensors in the front, so when the door encounters a little bit of resistance, it just bounces right back. Problem is, there are no sensors in the top, back, or bottom of this door, leaving the children virtually unprotected.
We do get this real false sense of security, and we go buy this vehicle that we've been told is safe. But are we being told the rest of the story?
Jeanette Fennell is the founder of Kids and Cars, an advocacy group that has raised awareness for kids killed or injured in or around vehicles. Jeanette is a big fan of the bounce-back feature, but is alarmed by what she suspects is a design flaw.
When you look at a minivan door and it's sliding, If it's going to close, the place where it closes, yes, it needs a sensor.
But we've uncovered the sensors themselves are sometimes failing in the Honda Odyssey.
His fingers were trapped on the inside of the door.
We found 10 complaints in the NHTSA database where kids just like Matthew have been injured from problems with the sliding doors on the Honda minivan. Complaints where fingers and feet were caught in front of the sensors, but the door closed anyway. One child's entire hand was crushed, and another child was caught at the neck because the bounce back didn't work. But the problem is not limited to the Honda Odyssey. In fact, we found more than 200 complaints involving sliding doors on multiple minivan makes and models.
These are not just little freak accidents.
I was going on the other side with you.
That's why Kelly took the picture and is sharing her story with other parents.
Nobody had ever mentioned any of this to me. I thought they were safe. I thought I could depend on them. And really, you can't.